The following is a presentation of Comcast Newsmakers, the program where you hear from the leaders important to you.
Thanks for joining us. I'm Vince Robinson. Joining us in studio for this edition of Comcast Newsmakers is Dr. Arthur Snyder. He is president of Indiana Tech, and a lot of things going on at Indiana Tech we want to talk about. Thanks very much for being with us.
Thank you, Vince.
Let's talk a little bit first about the physical growth. A lot of new developments on campus. Tell us what's in the works.
Boy, we've grown from about 25 acres to 40 acres over the last 25 or 30 years, and the physical facilities have grown too. And in addition to academic growth in buildings, we've added a new residence hall that opened just this past August and housing 60 new students.
That's outstanding. Tell us a little bit about, the main campus located just east of downtown Fort Wayne, a really important neighbor to the East Central neighborhood. Tell us a little bit about why that's such an important anchor, really, in some sense, to downtown.
Many of the neighbors have called us an anchor, and we've helped the development of other businesses as well as the residential neighborhood. And we have a lot of contact with our neighbors. They're on the campus for a variety of different reasons, and I think we have a good neighborhood association there in East Central.
Now let's talk a little bit about the growth in programs, because in addition to physical resources, more programs.
That's correct. We're an engineering college by heritage, but we've added business and computer studies and criminal sciences most recently, elementary education as well, and that's been a big asset to the institution to draw an even more diverse community of learners.
That's going to be a challenge too, though, for people who may expect, because of the history, they're looking at the engineering background. How hard was it to expand into some of these other areas?
Well, there were some challenges with that because, as I said, our heritage is in engineering. But the fact of the matter is, in the different market segments, business community, nonprofits, there are a need for people to be trained in a variety of different areas, including education and the criminal sciences and those areas that I mentioned. So while it did have some challenges, we quickly found our niche, and it's working quite well.
How did you find that niche? I mean, how did you work through the process of saying, this is what's going to work for us, this is right for Indiana Tech?
Well, we look at our strengths first. It's been technology and a technology background, and we look to see what complements that. And we also look at secondary and primary data. What are those emerging careers and jobs that we see now and into the future, because it is a vastly changing dynamic.
Mm-hmm. Now, also something new sports teams.
Yes.
Sports also a big part of Indiana Tech, part of the history, part of the current campus. Let's talk a little bit about what's going on there.
Yeah, go Warriors. We've had a variety of different additions in sports over the last few years, ranging from women's volleyball to cross country, track and field, and most recently, we've hired coaches for lacrosse, which isn't a sport that dominates the Midwest, but it certainly is growing. So we'll have men's and women's lacrosse kicking off in the fall of 2009.
Now, when you've got these three areas really going strong, buildings, programs, sports, what does that really say for the future of Indiana Tech? Well,
it all goes back to our central focus on the student. And the growth of students academically, socially, culturally, helping them mature and help them to prepare for careers, and really to prepare for change, because their careers are going to change dynamically over their years in the workforce. So that's the epicenter and focus that we have. It's on students and it's on learners for the future. Dr. Snyder, thanks very much for the update. Thank you.
That's all the time we have for this edition of Comcast Newsmakers. I'm Vince Robinson. We'll see you next time.